Hi, my name is Rishabh Saha. I'm a sophomore in the Global Public Health Scholars Program at the University of Maryland, and I am majoring in neuroscience. Food insecurity is a prominent issue in Montgomery County, Maryland. It is defined as the lack of consistent access to sufficient food and can be caused by a variety of factors, including a lack of resources or accessibility. Food insecurity has always been an issue, but COVID-19 has only exacerbated it, with food insecurity expected to increase from 8% in 2018 to 13% after this pandemic. COVID-19 has been tough on so many families, and I consider myself privileged with the lifestyle I've had during this pandemic, which is why I wanted to help food insecure families in my community who are not as privileged. To do so, I volunteered at a nonprofit food bank called Nourish Now. Nourish Now aims to solve food waste and hunger by specializing in food recovery. They collect donations from grocers, caterers, restaurants, and bakeries and redistribute them directly to individuals, families, and partner organizations. Nourish Now donates more than 45,000 pounds of food per month and have donated more than 2 million pounds of food since 2011. Nourish Now's policies and accomplishments are the reason why I chose to volunteer at this food bank. I had several tasks that I would perform as a volunteer at Nourish Now, including unloading trucks carrying donations, examining the food to ensure it is not expired or damaged, organize the food onto shelves, fridges, and freezers, and load food onto new trucks that will carry the food for redistribution. Additionally, I would create family relief packages, which were boxes full of essential foods that would be sent out to food insecure families to help them keep food on the table. Foods that would be included in these packages included cereal, granola bars, canned goods such as fruits and vegetables, peanut butter, jelly, bread, pasta, and more. These foods all have long shelf lives and are relatively nutritional, hence why they are used in these packages. The picture in the middle of the poster shows these family relief packages. At this phase, we had formed the boxes, placed labels on them, and organized them in rows so they were ready to be filled with essential foods. The importance of the work being done at Nourish Now is unquestionable, but it is not enough. One issue is that the average meal cost in Montgomery County relative to the rest of Maryland is roughly 17% more expensive, which makes it even more difficult for families to afford consistent meals, especially during the pandemic. Another issue involves the annual food budget shortfall for Montgomery County. Montgomery County received $183 million through coronavirus aid, relief, and the Economic Security Act. These federal funds are allocated to small businesses, rent relief, child care, public transportation, and food assistance programs. Montgomery County's annual food budget shortfall is roughly $55 million, which is 30% of the federal funds Montgomery County received. With all the places these funds get allocated to, it is unlikely that 30% of those funds will be allocated to food assistance programs. To try and combat these issues, it is important to promote donations to food banks in an effort to reduce the deficit. Increased advertising and exposure can help educate the public about food insecurity, especially the effects COVID-19 has on it. This can be key to increasing donations and volunteers working at food banks. Encouraging donations of nutritious foods with long shelf lives, such as the foods included in our family relief packages, can also make a huge difference. There is a long period of time between a food being made and that food being donated and sent out for redistribution. Foods with long shelf lives help avoid having to deal with expired foods, which significantly increases the effectiveness of the work being done at food banks. This practicum has been a significant experience for me, as it has given me a better understanding of just how much food insecurity impacts families. There are a few families I know in my own neighborhood who are not always able to keep food on the table, so really understanding the struggle they go through has only increased my drive to continue to combat food insecurity in my neighborhood. This practicum has also shown me how steep the issue of food insecurity is, even in a place like Montgomery County where it is relatively low. From a realistic standpoint, it is virtually impossible to completely get rid of food insecurity, and no amount of advertising and education can change that. But it definitely makes a huge impact. I believe for now, a reasonable goal is to try and reduce food insecurity in Montgomery County back to the 8% it was at before COVID-19 hit. And similar goals can be set wherever you live too. So donate, volunteer, and educate. A little effort from us makes a huge impact in the fight against food insecurity.